What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the 3 new BILT cards, whether or not they're going to make sense for you guys to go ahead and transition over to them. In my previous video that I uploaded a couple days ago, I talked about the new changes and the email that was sent out by the owner of the company, Anker, and what those changes are going to be like. One of the biggest things that everybody was wondering was whether or not there would actually be a transaction fee. So we cover all of that in that video. So if you guys have any questions about kind of like the new nuances of the card, go ahead and go back to my last video, click on that, and kind of go into that a little bit more. But today, I just want to talk about what the new cards are, what the benefits of those cards are, and whether or not going from 1.0 to 2.0 makes sense for you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the video. Cool. All right, so here I have the 3 cards pulled up. I tried my best to go back and find the original 1.0 card so that I could kind of compare that with these cards, but you can't like find it anywhere on the internet, which is okay, because looking at these different values for the cards, it's basically the 1.0 card spread out, and I'll explain what that means. But as you can see, for each of the tiers here, you have the blue card, which is going to be the no annual fee card, which I would imagine a lot of people are going to go for, unless you are going to do what it seems like BILT is wanting people to do. Obviously, the partnership with Wells Fargo has ended with BILT, and that's why all these new changes and everything have come out. BILT is trying to make a more profitable card because the card was so good and easy for credit card users. Anytime something is really good for you, it can't be good for the bank. So they have to make changes that is going to make the company money, because if the company's not making money, then they will just have to cancel this altogether. So the first card, the BILT Blue card, all of them have sign-up bonuses. Just to get that out of the way, they all have sign-up bonuses, which is nice. That's like one of the most notorious things about the original BILT card. I know that there was like a select few people that got like these targeted offers for their cards, and they were able to get their 1.0 card with some sort of a sign-up bonus. But again, that was a targeted offer, so it's not something that was for everybody. So we're just going to say that that one did not have a sign-up bonus. These all do, which is great. They come in the form of BILT Cash, which is still kind of in the air. Like, I don't think anybody's truly going to understand like how good BILT Cash is and how you can utilize it until we actually get the card. So right now, $100 BILT Cash is what we have. And then, of course, the most expensive Palladium card has this 50,000 BILT point plus gold status offer after you spend $4,000 in your first 3 months. So that is something. BILT points are transferable currency to hotel partners or to airline companies. So that is probably the best sign-up bonus out of all of the cards. But as you continue to go down here, you'll see that all of them kind of have very similar rewards, which is not my favorite thing about credit cards. I feel like the more money you spend on the card, the benefits should stack on each other in some way, shape, or form. So for the original card, you got the $100 sign-up bonus, the 4% back with the BILT Cash, and then 1x on rent, 1x on everyday purchases. With the BILT Blue card, you have the $100 sign-up bonus that is in the form of BILT Cash. You've got the 4% back in BILT Cash on purchases excluding rent and mortgage, and then you have your BILT points. Now, this first one is going to say it's up to 1x points on rent and mortgage. If you want to know more about that, I have the whole chart and everything broken down in my previous video, so I recommend you go back to my previous video so you can understand what that up to really means. And then you have 1x points on everyday spend. Going over to the Obsidian card. The Obsidian card is basically the original 1.0 card. It has all of the same benefits as the original 1.0 card. You are just now paying $95 for that card instead of having, you know, zero annual fee on that. So you're going to get a $200 BILT Cash bonus on that one. You'll get 4% back as well. Up to 1x on your rent and mortgage, 3x on grocery and dining, or no, grocery or dining. On the previous card, it was dining and groceries that you could get 3x on. So that's like an important distinction as well, where you're having to choose whether or not you can actually get that 3x back, and there's a cap. So those are, if that matters to you, that is something that I would highlight, that, you know, you have to pick and choose on which one of those you want it to be. Then you get the 2x on travel as you did before, and then you have 1x on everyday spend as well. So key takeaways from the Obsidian card, which again is basically the 1.0 card, is the cap that you have now, the up to for your rent. So I believe they're getting rid of the 5 transactions per cycle. So now it's just you spend the money on the card. They're trying to pivot away from the whole I'm going to give you all of the points so long as you do, the 5 transactions. They just want this to be a top of wallet card, so to speak. They want it to be one of your main spenders. So the idea is that you use this card a lot and not just a limited amount of times, and then you throw it into your sock drawer. So you can kind of take that however you want. I would say that for me, the benefits are not necessarily useful for me to want to use this as my main card. So for a $95 annual fee, I'm not sure that this is something that I would consider or that I would even recommend to other people to get, because there are just so many other cards that you can get for no annual fee that would give you 3x on groceries and 2x on travel. So take that for what you will. Again, we don't really know what the BILT cash is going to be, so that one is kind of stick a pin. 4% back does sound good. That is, if you're saying that I can get 4% back on everything and there's no cap on that, then that's going to be great. But again, we will revisit that when the cards actually come out, because I'm still really unsure about this BILT cash thing. Now you have the BILT Palladium card. This is going to be the $495 annual fee card. This one is going to give you a $300 BILT cash sign-up bonus with a 50,000 BILT points plus gold status after you spend $4,000 on everyday purchases in the first 3 months. So out of all the sign-up bonuses, that's probably the best one with the 50,000 points, because with the points, we at least know what the points are. We know how to use those points. So I would say that that's probably the best offer that's out of any of them. Is the offer worth it? Well, looking into what is left here, you still get the 4% back like you would on every other card, up to 1% on rent like every other card, and then 2x back on everything else. So what are you really paying for? Well, you get the sign-up bonus for the $495, and that's what you're gonna get, but it's essentially a $495 card that's going to give you 2x points on everything. So that's kind of where I'm just like, this motion right here, that's where I'm at with the card. I just don't know that this is something that's extremely beneficial for most people, especially if you already have like your setup made. Now, don't get me wrong, people create different setups every single year, so this may not be something that's a deal breaker for you. But I will say, for me, the card has only been a card that I've ever cared about using as it pertains to rent. So if that means that I'm not going to get as many points for using the card, but I can still use it for my rent, I don't think I'm going to go out of my way to pay money for this card, just because a lot of the categories are a bit redundant. If you've seen my 15 card video, then you know that I have maximized my setup in ways that I like, and I don't think that I'm going to incorporate this card just so that I can get 3x on dining or groceries, when there are cards that can give you, like the Amex Blue Cash Preferred, for instance, that you can get 6% back on groceries. You know what I mean? So I don't think that that's a great, and I don't like that you have to choose either, but I digress. Completely up to you guys to be able to determine whether or not this is something that you're going to want to use for your card setups. Moving down the list here, we've also got a few other things. So you'll get, as long as you use your blue card for BILT Neighborhood Partner. So these are restaurants, fitness studios, or things that BILT has in their ecosystem that they're allowing you to use your card for, so you can get a little bit more value. So if you go to a particular restaurant, you will still get 3x from that restaurant using your no annual fee card. Same with fitness studios, same with Lyft, and then you'll get 2x on Walgreens, and you get all that with no annual fee. A little bit more benefits for the Obsidian card, though. You'll get 5x points on those same restaurants, but only if you have dining selected, right? So You're not going to get this if you don't have dining selected as the category that you want to use this card for. So if you're a grocery person and you go to one of these restaurants, you are not going to get 5x back. You get the same thing for the studios, same thing for Lyft, same thing for Walgreens. Going over to the last card, you get 4x on these partnered restaurants without having to select a category. You get 4x on the studios, 4x on Lyft, 3x on Walgreens, and then, oh, sorry, forgot to say the $100 for the BILT Travel Hotel, which you get $50 twice a year that you can put toward your hotel credit. And then for the more expensive card, you get 200 and 100 intervals. So I believe that's gonna most likely be on a semi-annual basis. So every 6 months, you'll get $100 that you can use toward you'll get $100 a year to your BILT cash. And then for your hotel credit, that will be also a semi-annual thing where you'll get $200 as statement credit every 6 months toward your hotel bookings. So there's that. Additional benefits down here, basically the same thing as we had before with the no foreign transaction fees and the cell phone coverage and all that. It's not really what people are using the card for, or it's not normally what's going to make or break getting the card for you. So I would say like this is like the main all-encompassing thing that people are really looking for. For the money, again, you make what you think is the best decision for you. I don't know that I would recommend any of the cards that you actually have to pay for, unless you are someone who's just like, I want to do just one, maybe two credit cards in my whole setup. If you're somebody who's already using this card for your rent and you're, like I said, you're just using maybe one or two credit cards, it's perfect. I won't lie. I think that, having a 2X card is always great to have in your wallet. And if you're going to spend, that much money for an annual fee, sure. Like, it's not a bad card to have. But again, there are cards that offer just as good, if not better value. And one thing that I just really don't like about the Palladium card is how much money you're spending in relation to what you are getting in return. We saw this with like the American Express Platinum card, where you're getting a lot of credits to kind of offset the money that you're spending. And while, yes, you will get $600 in credits as opposed to the $495 that you're spending to get this card, yeah, that's all I can really say is like it's this motion right here. I don't know, man. I can't say that I would recommend this card. I think that you are losing value overall with the card. You're not getting as much outsized value as you were before. I will say that I kind of do like the fact that I'm not having to keep up with how many transactions I've used the card for in general. I think that'll make it easier overall for me to use the card for my rent and literally just throw it back in the sock drawer, because that's genuinely all I care about using the card for. Even though, yes, you are not going to get as many points as you were getting before, it's still nice not to have to keep up with stuff like that. So that's all I can really say about that. But that's what it looks like we are going to be going into with this BILT program. And you guys can, that's the information. It's really up to you on whether or not it's something that you think that you should get. Like I said, these are not bad cards by any stretch, but there are other cards that are already in the ecosystem in general, just in the credit card space in general, that offer a little bit better value and oftentimes for less money or no money at all. So yeah, guys, that's the video. Appreciate you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think about these new changes, man. Like I said, the only thing that's really up in the air for me personally is what this BILT cash thing has to offer. If you're going to be getting a no cap 4% back on everything, if that's truly what it's going to be, that does change my opinion a little bit. I do think the card would be worth using if we're talking about a just no cap 4% on everything, because there's no card that offers that. And if you can get that for a no annual fee, I think that's a no-brainer to use that card as one of the main cards in your setup. But again, as I said before, I don't know. None of us really know what this BILT cash thing is going to look like, so it's really to be determined. Obviously, BILT is just trying to get people to use their card more, which is not bad. So I'm not like hating on them because they're upping, and making it a little bit more complicated and taking away some of the value. I'm okay with that if there's a way for people to get more value in general, just depending on the way that you spend your money. But Again, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I would love to discuss this further. I'm really interested. I plan on making another video about this in February when I do get the card, so we can kind of talk about it a little bit further if we learn more stuff. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.